All right, guys. The movie on our list that we're going to be talking about now is The Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino's 8th movie, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes,
It works on many different levels.
Yeah, it works. I knew he did that on purpose. He's a goddamn genius. Jude, take it away. What is The Hateful Eight all about?
2015, The Hateful Eight, rated R, with a runtime of 2 hours, 48 minutes, or 6 hours.
I watched the 6-hour version this
You
week.
did?
Yes, I
didn't
did.
have time. I've
Yeah, I
never
did.
seen it. This had a budget of $44 million plus $30 million in promotion. What do you think this brought into the box office?
I have no idea. I don't know. Just 120 million.
I wouldn't even know how to make a guess.
What does Quentin Tarantino's movie bring in? Because he's he's not like a main. Well, he is kind of now a main.
Yeah, this is just like 7 years ago.
What was the budget?
Budget of 44 plus 30 in promotion.
Can you use it in a sentence?
70 million.
No.
74, whatever.
I'm going to say it broke 100.
Okay.
$156 million.
Okay.
Not bad, little movie.
Nice.
It's not a little movie by any stretch of the means.
Not bad, long ass movie.
All right, Jude, take it away.
You ready?
Yep.
It's the dead of winter in Wyoming. There's a storm fast on the heels of a 6-horse carriage. Snake Plissken is transporting a dangerous single white female for bounty when he sees Nick Fury with his thumb out shaking his ass on the side of the road for a ride. Fury hitches a couple of dead bodies to the roof of the carriage, and the trio make their merry way toward Minnie's haberdashery. They get about 3 feet and then pick up another hitchhiker, Walton Goggins, the new sheriff of Red Rock. If Snake and Nick want to collect their bounties when they get there, they better give Sheriff Goggins a ride to the haberdashery. Once there, they find that some things are amiss. Minnie's not there, but her homemade stew is. The coffee tastes like shit. Sweet Dave's fat ass isn't in his regular chair, and some Mexican guy named Bob has been left in charge. Captain Ron is determined to keep Daisy Domergue alive for her hanging, and just knows that she's in cahoots with one of them there fellers up in the haberdashery. They're all stuck inside until the storm passes, so Jack Burton goes about disarming everyone, starting with that crazy son of a bitch, Mr. Blonde. They all make nice and comply and pass the time with some campfire stories. Turns out Bruce Dern's son was face-fucked and murdered by Nick Fury. Small world. While Daisy plays the guitar, someone poisons the coffee, and suddenly people start spewing blood. Nick Fury takes charge, and while he's working out the who's who Agatha Christie mystery of the snowed-in haberdashery, Channing Tatum in the basement shoots him in the dick. Turns out Daisy was in cahoots with all them fellers. They killed Minnie, Sweet Dave, and Zoe Bell, and have been lying in wait to set Daisy free. She tries to cut a deal with Sheriff Goggins, but he's pissed off about that poison coffee he almost drank and decides to carry out the hangman's justice himself. Discuss.
Hated.
Stop.
Really?
Stop. Before we start, there's a piece of trivia in this movie that I want to talk about.
All right.
Don't you dare mention that Martin guitar. That's mine.
Okay. I know exactly what he's talking about. Thank you for warning me.
Why don't you guys discuss this shit before we start recording?
All right. Look, everybody loves Quentin Tarantino movies, especially
like
movie people. I like this movie. It's not my favorite.
Okay.
It's very overbloated.
I agree.
It's very self-indulgent.
Oh, God.
So self-indulgent. But I love every single character. And I want to quote the movie, but I fucking can't.
We can't
That
quote.
is a fair assessment.
You can't quote a single line.
I
off this
can't
movie.
quote anything in this movie, but I want to because it's all freaking...
Abraham Lincoln.
The Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States of America. I fucking love that dinner
You
scene, dude.
can quote this movie, but you shouldn't.
Say goodbye to your waffles.
Hey, man, my name is Bob.
This thing just...
I was over there playing Silent Night the whole time.
This thing just sweats Tarantino from
Yeah,
every
it
pore.
does.
And I just I
100%.
don't
That's an incredible way of describting it.
Yeah.
It literally sweats Quentin Tarantino.
yeah
It's just
from every pore.
oozing.
Yeah, and it's just look, man, I love Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino. I love Kill Bill. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, yeah,
ever.
for sure.
I don't like Quentin Tarantino Western Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
I guess I don't know how to say how I don't like this movie. I just don't like it. It doesn't work for me. It's just it's an hour too long. The dialogue is ridiculous. The way he just inserts characters in the 2 hours in and stuff. It doesn't work, man. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like whodunits. First off, and I know Matthew loves whodunits, and that's fine. I get it. But I just felt like it was just a bunch of dialogue diarrhea through the entire movie. That's how I feel about it. I don't care if I ever see this thing again, and I'm certainly not going to watch a fucking 6-hour version.
I watched the 6-hour version.
I wanted to. I didn't have time.
It was.
No way.
So I watched the 6-hour version because I hadn't yet, and I was like, well, now's
Isn't it really 4? Isn't it 4 episodes?
It's 4 episodes that are each like an hour and 20 minutes long. But here's the thing, though, this is what I discovered. So they say like, oh, this is a hour-long chapter, and there's 4 chapters or whatever. But literally, the opening credits for each and every episode is the same opening credits for this movie. Every time. And the opening credits for this movie is like
20 minutes
20 fucking minutes long. So there's literally 20 minutes of that music and a slow-mo zoom in on the guy in the cross thing.
That's like
the Jesus cross.
Is that Jesus?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
When I went to Prime or whatever it was that we saw this, and I saw there was an option for the movie, which was 3 hours long, or the episodic whatever.
Director's cut or whatever, yeah.
Keep in mind, you guys know how terrible I am with my time. And I went, holy fuck. I gotta watch this? And I still gotta watch Hateful Eight or Bone Tomahawk. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna have to call out sick this week. There ain't no way it's gonna happen.
You have a panic attack every week.
I do. Yeah. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So, it was just.
Is this your first time watching this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I hated it. I just hated it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
No,
watching Tombstone and then going to this, thinking, it was just.
Well, I think I've kind of come to the realization that Russell's not really the main character in this movie.
No, he's not.
No.
Sam Jackson is the main character.
So when he's in this movie,
he steals the show.
He's the main character.
Yeah,
for sure. It all revolves around him and who he's got. But his character is probably my favorite one in the movie.
The Hangman.
Yeah,
John Ruth.
Yeah, he's funny, and it's just he's so over the top and and everything. But there's just so much stupid dialogue in this thing that I just can't stand. Okay. And normally I like Sam Jackson, and Sam Jackson's just being Sam Jackson, but he's being Sam Jackson in 18 whatever, and I just don't feel like it really worked. And I get what Tarantino was doing, especially at the end when he reads the letter. It's like we're all a bunch of racist pieces of shit, basically, is what the story's about.
Right.
But this is coming from Tarantino.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Jude.
I love Tarantino movies. I used to have like Tarantino watch party nights. I love his shit. That being said, this is probably in my top 5 least liked Tarantino movies. Okay. So I guess bottom 5.
Yeah.
This is only my second watch. It's just so I like Vader. I find time precious, and it's just such a commitment. And Kadish and I went to see this when it came out, and I fell asleep while we were in the theater. I drink a lot, and sometimes I get sleepy. And since then, I never watched it again because I was like, God, it's so long. It's just so much of a commitment. I don't have the time to watch it. So we watched it for this, and I was pleased because I was like, oh, I remember that. I don't remember that one part. I remember everything else. Turns out I was just kind of in and out. And I saw most of the movie. But upon my second watch, thinking that I had missed a lot of the movie, I was like, oh, I actually didn't miss that much. It's just okay. Quentin Tarantino reuses a lot of people throughout his movies, and they're people that are he reuses them for a reason. They're amazing.
Mhm.
Walton Goggins, Kurt Russell, Sam Jackson, Vince.
Michael Madsen and Tim Curry.
Is it Tim? That's not Tim Curry.
That's not Tim Curry.
Tim
Roth.
Tim Roth.
Tim
Yeah.
Roth.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. So like all of these people that he reuses in his movies, he does it for a reason because they're amazing.
Mhm.
This movie isn't amazing, and that's probably why I fell asleep in the first place.
Okay.
I'm with you. There's not a single bad actor in this movie. In fact, there's a lot of them. It's an amazing cast. It really is. It's
Jennifer Jason Leigh is wow
she was good
in this.
I mean, I have to admit, I laughed when every time she'd open her mouth, Kurt Russell beat the shit
Punch
out of her.
the shit out of her.
Shut up, bitch.
Shut up, Dahmer knew.
She gets more fucked up
Yeah.
throughout the movie.
By the end of this movie, she's like just full on Carrie face.
Yeah.
Covered in
She
blood.
starts off with a black eye, then she loses like a bunch of teeth.
Oh,
then
God.
she's just like face
Covered in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she gets her foot shot.
And then
Like,
and then she gets
and
gets
hung.
killed. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was, yeah.
So, Kadish.
It's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's not my favorite.
Okay. Kadish, what did you think about this one?
Again, I'm alone on my hill.
Yes,
This
you're
is
probably
my all-time favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Really? All-time favorite Tarantino movie?
Yes.
Wow.
I
Wow.
love this movie.
Okay.
Because all the writing stuff.
I'm like right in between the two of you, or this side of the table. I think this table split this way this time
Probably.
because I'm kind of with Kate. Like, I really like this movie.
I love it when we're on the same team.
I don't hate it as much as you guys do. Go ahead, continue, Kadish.
I don't hate it.
All right. So first of all, Kurt Russell's mustache is the most epic it's ever been on screen in
very
this
good.
movie.
It's very
Like his mustache just rules. He based his performance off of John Wayne. So like he's basically just doing a John Wayne impression throughout this movie. But I'm a big fan of like the Agatha Christie, like, you know, killers like trapped in an enclosed space type movies or stories. And this is actually Quentin Tarantino's version of The Thing. Like he was like, I want to do my take on The Thing. And so I'm going to get Kurt Russell and a bunch of guys who get trapped in a winter blizzard and don't trust each other and end
Holy
up killing each other one by one.
That's
Dude,
a
you just
different
blew my
perspective.
freaking
It's
mind.
a fucking horse of a different color.
Yeah. And actually, originally, so like this was initially conceived as a Django sequel to Django Unchained.
It's very Django.
And Tarantino decided against that. And so like he aged up the main character and he turned him into the character that Sam Jackson plays. And after he had written this, the script got leaked somehow online.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so traumatizing for him that he was like, you know what, I'm not going to make this movie. But at the time they had a scheduled like script reading, like a table read type thing with the actors. And so the actors all went through with the table read and they all loved it so much that they convinced Tarantino to go forward with it. And so Tarantino retooled the script a little bit and decided to go forward with it. And this is really like almost like his love letter, not just to The Thing and Agatha Christie style whodunits, but also spaghetti westerns. And he even got Enrico Morricone, who did the famous Good, Bad, and the Ugly score, who had done other movies of Tarantino's to come in and do the score for this film. And it was like the music in this movie is just incredible.
I feel like the music in his movies is always really good. I always love the soundtracks.
Yeah, but the thing I really love about this movie is that it follows kind of like the traditional Agatha Christie model of like you spend a lot of time with setup. About half the movie is just getting to know these characters and getting to see them interact with one another and kind of learning a little bit about them and coming to suspect each one of them. And then stuff starts going wrong. And then like all the trust breaks down and you're trying to figure out who's doing it. Sam Jackson plays like I guess you could call him the closest thing to the detective. Like, you know, like he's always like a step ahead of everyone else.
He knows shit's going down
From the get-go,
Yeah.
he's like,
as soon as he arrives
that
at
story don't add up, but I'm not calling you a liar yet.
yeah, he knows
It
he's the
got-
smartest
it
character
got a
in the
little
show.
bit ridiculous though.
But
This I'm sorry. This stew tastes like what's her face made it, and
Minnie
she's
stew.
over on the other side. It's just
Fucking
like
brilliant,
blah
dude.
blah blah.
I mean that's
That
typical
man knows his
Tarantino. But
stew.
Hold on, we're talking over each other too much. Go ahead, Kate.
The thing that really stands out to me about this movie is that it plays out like a stage play would. Like it's very just kind of centered on the characters and the dialogue and their interaction with each other. There's not a lot of flash to this movie. He has like a chapter structure, but it's not like it's like crazy like a Pulp Fiction is, where it's like jumping around and stuff like that. It's just very straightforward, and it's amazing. Like every character in this movie is so unique and brings something different to the table. Tim Roth's character, the Oswaldo, the hangman. So he is actually the grandfather or great grandfather of Michael Fassbender's character in the Inglourious Bastards movie.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
And they also have Red Apple cigarettes or Red Apple tobacco in this movie. And so like there's these like kind of like Tarantino verse.
I love that shit, dude.
Yeah,
I nerd out about that kind of stuff.
And also like just every single interaction, like the scene between Bruce Dern and Samuel L. Jackson, where he baits him into like the shootout.
That's the greatest. Rough. That is the greatest moment in this movie.
That's the part of the movie I slept through.
I thought that was like originally. The cringiest bullshit in the entire thing.
No, dude, when he's baiting the general and he's telling the story and he sucked on that big black Johnson because he was warm. That was nonsense, dude. That was the greatest.
No, you're wrong.
Okay, no, you're not. No, I'm not wrong. Listen, dude. That was I love Sam Jackson.
Talking about dick sucking in a fucking Western movie. All right, it was nonsense.
Dick sucking makes Vader very uncomfortable.
That's fine. That's
absolute bullshit nonsense.
I love Sam Jackson.
When I say this thing fucking sweats Tarantino, that's what I mean.
Okay, that's completely fine.
The thing is, though, is it's debatable as to whether or not that actually happened, or if he just made that story up.
Yeah,
to bait.
For sure.
I think he made it up.
100%.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is like this. I love Sam Jackson, and he's in pretty much every Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
This is the one where his performance outdoes all the other ones. Like he's better in this movie than he is in Pulp Fiction.
I have no problem with Sam Jackson's performance.
I think
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah.
The performances in this whole movie, they're all good.
Right.
I don't like the writing.
Okay, we established that. Yeah,
that's my problem. It doesn't make it.
That's the reason I love this movie, though, is because it's pure Tarantino dialogue from beginning to end, and I love Tarantino's dialogue. And so, like, just watching this movie, like, I'm just enraptured by it every time I watch it.
This is not a popcorn flick.
It's so funny to me how we're just like we're all over the place.
So different. This is not a popcorn movie. I'm not quite as enamored as Kadish is, but I completely understand where he's coming from. This is a movie where if I'm gonna watch it, I'm like, okay, I need to fucking sit down and have a bowl of chili and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna. It's a cold movie.
I love the mystery aspect to it. I love the whodunit aspect, and like a typical. Agatha Christie, it's like they're all in on it.
Yeah.
I love like the reveal of Channing Tatum's character and how like I don't know, just the movie kept having these twists to it that I just loved. And Kurt Russell's death scene was crazy. In fact, there's a scene early on where he gets knocked out of the carriage. And he has this line where he's like, this bitch is going to rip my arm off. And then later on in the movie, she like cuts his arm off. And it's just kind of like that typical Tarantino foreshadowing type thing.
And then her final death scene is her being hung by the neck and his arm is hanging from her.
And there's so many things in this movie where Tarantino just kind of like lets the audience decide what's real and what isn't. Like, was Walter Goggins actually the sheriff of Red Rock?
Just let it go.
Jude always used
Walter
to joke.
Goggins.
Yeah.
Walter
Goggins. I want to call Walter Goggins Walter Goggers. So I always refer to him as Walter Goggers now.
Goober Gaggins.
I want to, but I don't.
I want to get. That's like the one dude I really want to get on the show. Like I would love to talk to that guy.
Dude,
he's a really good actor.
The Tarantino dialogue coming out of his mouth, it's dude, chef's kiss. Wow.
We started off saying this, but like I can't quote half this movie, but god damn it, is it so quotable? That whole thing about the Abraham Lincoln, the dinner scene. That's my favorite scene in this movie is the dinner scene where they're all sitting down and Walton Goggins starts questioning about the Lincoln letter. And he's just like, his laughter is so obnoxious in that scene when he realizes that it was all just a farce. And Kurt Russell's sitting there is like, was all that true? Are you lying to me? He's like, goddamn right I am.
I will admit that I did gain a little bit more of appreciation for him as an actor. Because I've seen him in a few more things recently, you know, like
Fat
Predators and Fat Man.
Predators and Fat Man and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like he's got some range.
Oh yeah.
Man,
really
if you ever
does.
watched him
Yeah,
in The Shield or in Justified, like
Mhm.
you know, he's an amazing actor. But the thing I love most about this movie is that Quentin Tarantino did not have his regular cameo. Like he's the voice of the narrator
Yeah.
who kind of like chimes in. But every time Tarantino shows up in his movies as like his like little cameo appearance because he thinks that he's an actor.
Wait, hold on. Who was it?
Quentin Tarantino.
He was the narrator?
Mhm.
Yeah.
During the next 4 hours, Jody and the boys chucked the bodies down the well.
That's his voice?
That's his
You
voice.
didn't pick up on
I
that
did
immediately?
not. No, I did not.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
Wow,
but every
okay.
time I see Tarantino show up in his movies, it always takes me out of the film because he's such a bad actor. And he seems to get worse as time goes along.
I don't know, dude. He did really good in Django. He pulled off.
No,
He pulled off an
that was his
Australian
worst.
accent. And then I love him in freaking Pulp Fiction. He's like, I know how good my fucking coffee is, Jules. All right, you don't need to tell me. I'm the one who bought it. Like,
From Dusk Till Dawn.
yeah, Dust Till Dawn, the psychopathic killer.
Who likes feet?
Well, that's not technically his movie. That's a Robert Rodriguez
I mean,
movie.
He
was-
wrote the screenplay.
True. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know.
continue.
Well, I'm just saying, like to me, like this is the best movie that Tarantino's ever made, and I love it. I could watch it 1,000 times.
I have a technical question for you because this, to me, is one of the most beautifully shot Quentin Tarantino movies.
Mhm.
It is, every frame is literally,
It looks like
Put up-
Wyoming. Was it in Wyoming where they filmed it?
I don't know. But
I
it's-
drove. I
It's
drove.
set in Wyoming.
I drove through Wyoming like 6 months ago,
I did too. I went in July.
and yeah, it's something.
It's barren.
Wow.
There ain't shit out there,
Hard pass.
but I love it. I want to go back. But like, I just noticed, like when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, it looks better than any of his other movies. Is there something that he did different? I know he used
Yeah,
some kind of a
so-
film or something
So
like that, right?
it's shot on film. It's shot in Super Panavision, which is like 70 millimeter, and he used special anamorphic lenses that give you much wider real estate. So typical like letterbox, like widescreen is like 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio, which means that it's 2.35 times as wide as it is tall.
Okay.
With this one, it was 2.65 or 7.5. So like it's just like way more epic in scope. In fact, they had to spend something like $8 to $9 million. The Weinstein Company did to fit a certain number of theaters with projectors that could actually natively project the 70 millimeter widescreen anamorphic cut of this film. So certain theaters, like for instance, the Alamo Drafthouse, when they projected this movie, they did it with the actual 70 millimeter film print using the correct projectors and lenses. So you got like the true Super Panavision like look and feel to it.
That's so freaking cool. So
I can appreciate that.
yeah, I can definitely appreciate it. And you can tell the difference.
Oh yeah.
Like there's something special about this movie when you're watching it. You're like, this doesn't look like your average freaking movie.
It's not the look of the movie. It's
You just don't like how bloated it is.
it's
it seems
very
like
bloated.
yeah.
It's very self-indulgent.
you want like
I
a
feel.
boiled down version of it.
It's like I'm really my brain is conflicted with this movie because I like Tarantino movies. I like Pulp Fiction. I like the Kill Bill movies. I like, I can't think.
What's your favorite Tarantino movie?
Probably Kill Bill.
Okay, mine's
Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
I fucking
I
love
like that one
Inglourious
too.
Bastards.
I mean,
The thing
like
is, though, do you look at Kill Bill as like one long movie or two separate movies?
Two separate movies. Like I like
See,
Kill
but
Bill.
it-
I
but
like
it's really
like
like one
one?
long
yeah.
movie.
I like part one better than part two. I'll put it that way.
Have you ever binged both of them together?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't. I need to.
Movie night.
Anyway, what I was gonna say is like this movie. If I were to go out with you guys, let's just say we do like a salty nerd watch party thing. Like I would go down to that fucking theater where you can like order dinner and sit at a table, and like just sit and it like you said, it's like a theater production.
Dinner theater.
Yeah, you sit at a table and you leisurely eat and drink and have a good time and have this as like a big show.
Yeah.
Like this is not like I'll throw it on in the background. It's not that type of movie.
No, and
But-
I feel like that's a thing about Tarantino movies where you could also, I guess, like think of them as stage plays,
Mhm.
and they would play like that,
yeah, especially this one
especially this one. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And the violence in this movie, like, so like we're introduced to like the violence against women very early on.
Oh, Jesus.
But
And the
it-
racism.
Yeah, and the racism, but like that's a product of the time, right? But like once things start getting like bloody, like once like especially Kurt Russell's death scene, where he's like vomiting up blood, and
Yeah.
OB ends up dying and stuff like that.
That poor bastard.
And
Pouring out for OB.
and then once Sam Jackson's balls get shot off and everyone's like shot and bleeding,
Shit
and
literally
dying.
hits the fan. Yeah.
This movie becomes like a horror movie almost. Like it's just so bloody and crazy, and everything leading up to that though, it just felt like, oh, okay, this is appropriate for all these terrible characters, because the title Hateful Eight, these are all terrible human beings.
Did anybody else like have some icky feelings about the fact that they put all of those dead bodies in the drinking water well?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Well, as soon as he was like, throw him in the well, I was like, don't throw him in the well.
And then they're like, where's the well pump? And he makes the coffee out of the well water. Yeah, no, there's definitely some subtle hints that like, ain't good water. They're all going to probably die anyway.
He's like, this coffee tastes like shit. Where's the well water? And I was like, don't drink that.
But I just love movies where like you don't know who to trust or who to root for.
Yeah.
And it alternates. Like sometimes you're like, oh, like I'm with Walton Goggins or I'm with Sam Jackson or something like that.
I don't really think I was ever like into any character in this movie. None of them are, but you can't root for any of them. And I think maybe that bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I love Sam Jackson's character.
Yeah.
Him going to task with the freaking racist general from the Confederate
He
Army.
face fucked that guy's son.
Yes, he did.
Maybe.
Look at, he just dies a little inside.
So dumb.
I don't really think that happened.
Stand your
It
buttons.
was so out of place.
Stand your buttons up, dude. No, he
So
was
out of
just, he
place.
was trying to get a rise out of him.
I know what he was
It was
trying
all
to do.
bullshit.
He was trying to justify the fact that he murdered that guy's son, and he was
Right.
throwing it in his face. By the way,
Yeah.
I had him suck my dick
Yeah.
too.
God damn
Also,
it.
Colonel Sandy Smithers just like went along with the bad guys after they like slaughtered Minnie and like everyone who was at that haberdashery,
Right?
who was taking care of him while he was staying there. And so
Yeah.
like I feel like that was kind of like you know,
Even
poetic
more
justice.
justification. Yeah, for sure. I'm just going to go ahead with my favorite scene. So throughout the entire show, Sam Jackson's character is, like we said, the one with the leg up. He kind of knows what's going on because he's been there. He's been to Minnie's haberdashery before. He knows the people there, and he's
And he's super observant.
yeah, he's very observant. That's one of my favorite elements of
He's
this
the
movie.
detective.
I don't have like a moment that I really love. I mean, I have several, but the one thing that I love about this movie is Sam Jackson's detectiveness. Is that a fucking word?
Detective work?
The writer over here is like, God damn it.
Detecting?
Like when he's looking and he sees the jar of candy, like we as an audience at that point have no idea what that means, but he's like, there's a missing jar of candy. And like the chair that, what's that
Sweet
guy?
Dave.
Sweet Dave sits
Sweet
in.
Dave and his sweet fat ass.
Yeah, he's like,
I always want to say, you tell him Sweet Dave,
Yeah.
or Steve Dave for Mallrats fans out there.
he's just, you know, he's like, he would never put a blanket over his and he wouldn't not give it up to somebody else. Like the little things that kind of lead into it. And then at the end, it all pays off and you're like, oh, it all makes sense now. Like, I love that aspect. I love that
freaking.
freaking.
Minnie even had a mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any stable hand who turned down help in a
That
Right.
too. Yeah. Are you calling me a liar?
Not yet, I'm not.
and how he kills Mexican Bob,
Yeah. Gosh damn it,
just
dude.
like blows his face off.
And he was worth like a hella bounty. He's
Right.
like, ah, shit.
He starts
I blew
laughing.
his face off.
No, he was like, you can have Bob. He's worth $10,000. And he starts laughing. He's like, he ain't worth shit now. I blew his face off. I love this movie, but I completely understand where you're coming from.
Wouldn't bounty hunters who collect bounties for a living know who those guys are just by
Not
immediately looking at
necessarily.
them?
necessarily.
There's probably so many bounties out.
the Wild West,
like,
bro.
like
Yeah.
they had heard of all these guys, but they didn't know what
Information
they looked
does not pass as freely as it does today.
Yeah, that's probably. Didn't have the internet back then.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No,
okay.
sir.
No iPhone.
No, sir.
Pony Express.
Yeah, I just felt it was bloated.
Okay. That's completely fair. I think that's a
Yeah.
fair criticism because it
It's
is.
just- yeah.
But you know the thing about this as compared to something like, let's say, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Here we go.
God damn it.
So in my opinion, Zack Snyder's Justice League is full of bloat and it's very self-indulgent. I will agree with you that this movie is kind of bloated and self-indulgent, but it works here because the entire thing is Tarantino, whereas Zack Snyder's thing is kind of like shallow. Like the stuff that's bloated in here adds to the story,
Right.
whereas Zack Snyder's stuff doesn't, in my opinion. So
There's not. You know what? Okay, I'll tell you what.
I'm glad we have opinions.
I'll tell you what. The one thing I did not like about this movie, and they did it several times, and I'm not quite sure why. It must have been something that he thought was cool or thought was interesting. But when they did the slow motion scenes, and the audio is also slow motion, and he's like, "You're not gonna trust that bitch." I hated that. I was like, "Come on, bro."
Mind that.
No, it bothered the hell out of me because I've seen this like 6 times. I think I've watched this movie.
How much time do you have?
A lot of time. I watched it when it first came out, and then I watched it again because I thought it was freaking dope. And then I watched it with my friends.
You watched this movie 3 times this week?
No, not this week. Like since it's come out, I've seen it at least 6 times.
Jesus
Do
Christ.
you feel as strongly about it now after so many watches as you did originally?
I'm of the opinion that I think it's getting better the more I watch it.
Okay.
Because all these details are coming out, and like watching it now, I can kind of see the second that Sam Jackson is on cue as like something ain't right here.
And that's one of the beauties of Tarantino films is like the more you watch them, the better they get.
Yeah.
Like there are so many of Tarantino's movies where the first time I've seen them, I was like, that movie was awful. I hated it. But then like each subsequent viewing, I'm like, wow, this movie's pretty good.
It gets better, yeah. But that's my only criticism that I have. The only bit of salt I have is like I really did not like those slow motion scenes because the audio bothered me, and it's just kind of like it's already a really long movie.
You're gonna make a
Yeah. Oh my god. It's like it's already a long movie, and then when you add that shit to it, it's just like Jesus Christ. I get it, dude. But anyway, that's my final thoughts. It's
Are you gonna tell the story about the guitar?
Oh, thank you. So,
oh my God, these two fucking agreeing and collaborating.
That scene,
I can't
guys.
handle it.
You want to go make out?
You want to suck on my foot? What the fuck, Tarantino?
Tarantino does have a feet thing.
He don't.
This is his only movie that doesn't feature feet.
I was gonna say, well, he did shoot Domergue in the foot.
Does Django have feet? I don't think Django has feet.
Domergue.
I mean, Django has feet.
I don't think Reservoir Dogs has feet either. Anyway, tell me about the guitar.
Okay, so the guitar. So there's that scene where he's like, "Hey, John Roos, can I play this guitar?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess so. Go ahead." And she starts playing it, and she's singing this song. And the end of that scene is she's like singing this song, and it's kind of like she's hinting at like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." At the end. Like it's a hint to what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna get away.
Yeah, basically. And he's like, "All right, that's enough guitar playing." And he grabs the guitar and he smashes it against the freaking wall.
Mm-hmm.
That guitar was an authentic 1800s Martin acoustic guitar.
Get out.
That was from a museum that Quentin Tarantino went and was like, "Hey, can we borrow this guitar because it's authentic to the time period?"
And Kurt Russell
And
got
Kurt
crazy?
Russell smashed the fuck out of that thing
that had to be
and
an
destroyed it. And that's that. Well, it was an accident because they did have a they had like a
They had 3 replicas.
they had a replica. Thank you. They had a replica on stage, and I think my gut tells me that Quentin Tarantino knew that wasn't the
my
replica,
God.
and he did it because he wanted to be like a fucking badass, which he is, and he smashed the shit out of that guitar. And that reaction from Domergue when she's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" You can see it in the movie. That was authentic because she knew it was the real guitar.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
fucked up.
so Tarantino's known for doing these like super long takes. In fact, Panavision had to create a extended magazine for the film cameras to accommodate like his penchant for like long takes in this movie. And so like basically the idea behind that scene was that, you know, they'd use the actual guitar that was on loan from the museum, worth $40,000 by the way, to do like the actual like music part. And then when Kurt Russell was supposed to smash it, they'd swap it out with one of the replicas and he'd smash the replica. Well, no one told Kurt Russell about this plan. And so like when he was doing that take, he went up there and he grabbed the actual guitar and smashed it.
So the smashing part was part of the script.
Yes.
Yeah, like it wasn't ad-libbed or anything
He
like
didn't
that.
like go off script and was
But-
I think my character would do this.
No, but he didn't know that was like the legitimate guitar, and so like he felt like super bad. For
Yeah,
having
That's on
destroyed this
They
Tarantino.
called the
guitar.
museum and they were like, "You're not getting your guitar back."
Yeah, and the museum's gone on record as like we're never supporting any like future movie production ever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Nor
get it.
should they.
Yeah. But honestly, my gut tells me that I think he did that on purpose.
I don't think
Like
he'd do that.
dude. Do you know how detail oriented Quentin Tarantino is?
I think if this had been a Robert Rodriguez production, that guitar would have gone back to the museum untouched.
Yeah, I don't think Quentin would have done that.
I think he did. That's why I don't know. I don't know the guy. But
that's a cool story though.
that's a dope story.
Yeah.
When I found that out, I was like, because then I'd go back and watch that scene.
That's like the stories where you hear them like when they like crash like classic cars and shit, and you go, no, don't do it.
No, that was like a super authentic 200-year-old guitar from Martin. And like when I saw this movie, I was in like a small town band and I was playing music and shit. So I was kind of like really into it. And that like just blew my mind.
So,
did you also know that Viggo Mortensen was originally slated to play Jodie Montagu?
Viggo Potterstein was supposed to be in it.
Yes.
What?
Instead of
Domergue?
yeah,
Instead of Channing Tatum?
yeah.
Did you notice that they
Oh.
changed the pronunciation of their last name halfway through the movie?
Domergue?
Domergue, and then when she says it, she says Domergurg or something. The Jodie Domergurg gang or something like that. And it's completely different pronunciation.
No, I did not notice that.
Also, that line where it's like, you got to hang mean bastards. You know that line?
Yeah.
So that's actually from Sony Chiba's Street Fighter, which was the movie in True Romance that Christian Slater's going to see the marathon of, and it's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite movies. So like even though it sounds like something that the Old West would say, that's actually from a kung fu film.
Nice. All right. Final thoughts. Give it a rating, Vader.
Just self-indulgent dialogue vomit.
Dig into it.
I'm having a hard time with giving this one a score because I do like Tarantino movies. But I'm trying to like figure out where if I gave Kill Bill a 4, where would this go? Because I like a lot of his movies, So I feel like
I want you to give it a 2 stars so bad.
It's not a 1. It's not a 1.5. I have a hard time giving it a 2 because there's a lot that's good about this movie. It's just not for me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put it right in the middle.
2.5.
I'm gonna go 2.5 and just
okay.
call it 2.5.
All right. That's at Matt Vader 74
Yeah,
on
whatever.
Twitter.
You can do whatever, man. I mean, it's the whole. It's too long. It's bloated. The general son sucking on Sam Jackson's dick thing really doesn't seem like it belongs. It was too much.
Okay.
And then they just inserted Channing Tatum and shit in 3 hours into the fucking movie. It's just, it's like, okay, enough. I'm over it. I'm done.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Jude, how about you?
So I'm gonna put this like for my rating on a scale of 1 to 5 in the realm of Tarantino movies. I can't score this against like movies in general. This has to go in the category
It's
of
Tarantino.
Tarantino.
He has his own rating bracket.
So in those movies, this is probably a 2-star for me.
What the fuck?
I know.
Holy shit.
This side of the table, bitch.
That being said, I hold his movies at a higher standard than I
Yeah.
do most other movies because I love him as a director.
Okay. So Quentin Tarantino's 2 stars, like an average movie, what would you be rating it for?
Whatever you need to tell yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, just make it work.
I'm gonna double the stars.
Fine.
So a 2-star Quentin Tarantino movie is a 4-star normal movie.
Or like a 5-star,
You know what?
1 out of 10.
That's probably not inaccurate. It really isn't.
There's a lot
Because
to love here.
I
Go ahead.
told you I graded mine on a Tarantino scale too. It's just not there.
Okay.
I love it when we're in sync.
Yeah.
It's funny to me. All right.
There's a lot to love. I love that he reuses cast members. I love seeing those people and doing different roles. I thought Jennifer Jason Leigh embodied this. Like, this character is so fucking ugly from the inside out.
She really
I don't mean that like she's not pretty. I mean that her character is ugly.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Jason Leigh is beautiful.
Yeah.
But she embodies this character and she pulls it off. And it's disturbing to watch. And at no point did I think while I was watching this, like, oh, that's Jennifer Jason Leigh.
I didn't even recognize her at the beginning.
I just was watching it and I believed everybody who was in this. This movie's so long and I hate that in a movie. And I don't disagree with Vader. about any of his critiques. So on the scale of Quentin Tarantino movies, like this is not in the top.
Wow. Okay.
For me.
Kadish, what's your opinion on this? Final thoughts, give it a rating.
So I love how long this movie is. I'm not like a big fan of long movies in general, but like watching the extended version on Netflix, I'm just like, give me more. This is, like I said before, I think this is my favorite Tarantino movie ever. I'm giving it 4 dick sucks out of 5 because like everything about this movie just works. It's pure Tarantino from beginning to end, but it also takes my favorite kind of like, mystery scenario where like there's a killer amongst a group of people that don't trust each other, trapped in a enclosed space. And I love that. I'm a sucker for it. And also the fact that this is like Quentin Tarantino's version of The Thing. It works on so many levels. Yeah. And Kurt Russell's mustache, that gets a whole star just on its own. So,
I totally respect your rating because I can imagine that if you've had 5 dick sucks in a row, that 4th one probably chafes a lot. So I get it. It's not great.
This is why we're getting married.
The points are made up and the rules don't matter.
This is true.
Amen.
All right. I'm literally dead center in the middle between the two opinions here. I do agree with you. It is self-indulgent, very self-indulgent, but it's Tarantino self-indulgent, and I don't mind that. So I enjoy it for that.
Show me a Tarantino movie that's not self-indulgent.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I love the cinematography is freaking gorgeous. This movie is just so beautiful to watch. I think this is Sam Jackson's best performance in a Tarantino movie.
Is he your favorite character in this?
Yes, because arguably, I think he's the main character of the movie. He's the detective. Sure. You start the movie with him and you end the movie with him. So I think Sam Jackson's character, this is his best movie with Quentin Tarantino. And probably outside of Quentin Tarantino too. I haven't seen a lot of Sam Jackson movies that aren't involving the both of them.
I think I enjoy Walton Goggins the most throughout the movie.
He's obnoxious.
Yeah, and he's
so
kind of a dummy.
Yeah,
and that's fun.
Yeah, I love that at the beginning of this, they are both like polar opposite sides. Like one's a Confederate army, one's a Union black soldier who kills a bunch of people. They should not be friends, but by the end, it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So like they team up at the end and they have like a respect for each other. And so I think that's a really important story to have in this movie.
It's pretty clear that they're both going to die in this snowstorm at the end, and they just make the best of it.
Yeah.
And
they go out together.
They're allies.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it. This is going to be 3. I'm going to say 3.5 because it is long. It's way long, and it's not something that I'll watch all the time. I don't think it's his best movie. I love Inglourious Bastards way more. So 3.5 stars for me. And my favorite scene is the guitar scene. And my other favorite scene is the goading of the general to pull the gun.
All right.
And it's your least favorite scene is my favorite scene. I freaking love that. That story is hilarious. All right, that's it for the Hateful Eight. Let us know what you think in the comments below about this movie. Comment if you are a super fan of Quentin Tarantino. If there's a fun fact that we missed about this movie, let us know in the comments. And next up is my favorite movie of the week, Bone Tomahawk. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.